What we do unto others, we do to ourselves. So let's unpack it. Hi and welcome to Outlaw Door. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those that are new, welcome in. So this video was inspired, one, by the phrase, to understand it, to unpack it, but also because somebody said to me the other day, don't you get mad, Claire? Don't you get angry? Of course I get mad. Of course I get angry. We're meant to feel the whole spectrum of emotions. That's why they're there. They're there for us all to feel at some point. And we're to draw from them and to use the energy of them. But that phrase gives us a really good indication of how we should be using, because what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. So if I get angry, if I get mad, if I don't like that energy because it is powerful and it's raging through me and I push it onto somebody else, I'm pushing it back onto myself doublefold. You're creating a yo-yo dynamic. I don't like that, you have it. No, I don't like that, you have it. No, I don't like that, you have it. And it's just going backwards and forwards, and we create a cycle of hurt. And that's where the hurt people come from. But just because through learning, and it is through learning, just because through learning we no longer become reactive to these negative emotions, we don't become reactive to these negative situations, doesn't mean that we don't feel those emotions. We do, and we should. That's the first thing, because over the last, no, I don't know, how long have I been doing this now? 13 years? Over the last 13 years or so, I have come across so many people on their spiritual journey that think that you should be all loving light and you don't get angry and you don't get sad and you don't get mad, and it's complete bedlam. We're human. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're having that human experience so that we can learn how to master the whole spectrum of emotions in higher levels of consciousness, where we learn not to project, where we learn not to be reactive. That's why we're here. That's the experience that we're having. And that's the campus of Earth, and that human experience is to learn to master our emotions, to learn to alchemize them in a positive way that serves all of humanity, because we're all connected. Not only is humanity connected, but so is the planet, so is all of the planet's sentient beings. The emotions are to be felt. What you do and how you alchemize those emotions is a free will choice for us all, and from those choices we learn and grow, or we don't. There are personal choices for where we are in that moment. But what I learned is to allow myself to feel those emotions and use the energy of those emotions to create something, one, that functions for me, two, enhances my experience, three, is of service to humanity. I have learned to transmute negative energy into positive experiences, learning experiences. And there's no magic involved here. Every single person that walks this earth has the capacity to do that. What is needed from each and every one of us is commitment to learn to do that. The mind is extremely powerful and has unlimited potential. But the key is not allowing the mind, aka the ego, to take charge. It's using the mind in conjunction with the heart, in conjunction with the gut, that instinct, the compassion and wisdom with the logic. It's having a three-way conversation. Okay, I really feel angry about this. Am I going to sit in that energy of anger and feel crappy for the rest of the day? Or am I going to logically go, that's not my ish, that doesn't belong to me, that has been projected towards me, I am going to take that energy because it was freely given to me, maybe with a different intent, but I'm going to take that energy and I am going to use it, I am going to mold it, I am going to transform it, transmute it into a positive energy that will serve me, that will serve the planet, that will serve humanity, that will help me grow, help me be a better person today. It's all about choice. It's all about mindset. The stories we tell ourselves. Are we going to tell ourselves a story about, oh, woe me, they're always being mean and they're always sending horrible things to me? I've done that. I've been there. I sat there for longer than I should have, for sure. Took me a long time to learn. Took me a long time to learn that nobody was going to rescue me. I had to rescue myself, and the only way I could rescue myself was giving myself a kick up the arse and saying, enough woe me, enough wallowing, enough of the pity party. Is what happening correct, just? No, but it's happening. So what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? Because there's nobody going to come and rescue me. There's nobody going to come and go, oh, I'll sort that for you, Claire. There, never mind. We have to do it for ourselves. We have to take ownership. And very often that's being projected onto you is because of where you've allowed your mind to go anyway. We've created it, or at least co-created it. We may not have said, oh, I want X, Y, and Z to happen to me. We may not have ever projected that out onto anybody else. I'm not saying this is what you give out, you get back. I don't believe karma works in that form. Karma is about cycles that play out so that we can learn lessons. That's my belief system. And it's one that supports me, and one which has allowed me to get where I am, where I'm able to transmute other people's negative energy that is projected towards me. So I do advocate it. I do advocate that belief system because I found it to be supportive. I can't tell you to take it on board. You need to choose for yourself. But what it has allowed me to do by looking at cycles, especially karmic cycles, as learning experiences, is allowed me to get out of that woe. It's allowed me to get out of that victim mindset. And it's allowed me to step into, okay, what am I going to do about this? I'm my saviour. I'm my own warrior of my life. What am I going to do about this? And in that asking that, what am I going to do about that? This, for me, What am I going to do to pull myself out of this? What am I going to do to defend myself without pushing any negative energy, projecting any negative energy out there? How am I going to do this? Asking those questions of myself whilst connecting to the divine, asking for the guidance. That's what's allowed me to be privy to this form of alchemy. It's not a manipulation of magic. It's about me deciding that I want to make changes in my life, and then me committing to what is needed so that those changes can be brought about. And I'm not going to pretend it was easy, because it's not. And I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't take a lot of falling on your knees and getting it wrong, because it does, or it did in my case anyway. But it's about that getting back up and recognizing and championing yourself when you get back up. And what actually happens is people start to see this, and people will then start to champion you, which adds to that energy, that adds to the momentum, which then starts to make it easy, or easier. But let's not go into this going, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. I'm just going to do X, Y, Z, and it's all going to be done and dusted, because it's not, because it's about taking off layers. And when you think you've cleared one thing, when you think you've mastered one aspect of this self-actualizing journey, you discover yet another layer of and you think, oh no. And it's about allowing yourself to do that, allowing yourself the privilege to do that. There's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong with going, no, not again. There's nothing wrong with saying, I really don't want to cope with that at the moment. I'm really not in the place and the space where I've got the energy to do that. But what I will say is, write it in your journal and go back to it. Don't allow it to fester and just sit in your journal, because I can guarantee you, when that wheel turns and it comes back again, it will come back bigger and darker. And I don't say that as a threat, just as an acknowledgement from personal experience. If that's what you choose, that's part of your journey. I'm a typical Scorpion, and I can be so fixed sometimes. And with that fixedness, I can get a little bit stubborn. I'm going to be honest. I've got better over the years. I really have, because I'm recognizing it. I've become more mindful with it. But when I first started the journey, I was like, I don't want to do that. I've talked many times about when Spirit was telling me I needed to do podium work with the mediumship, and I really didn't want to do it. And it's, if you put it into like a screenplay, it would be a hit comedy. It would, because it was really push pull, and in the end I had to do it because of where I wanted to take myself, because of the changes that I wanted to make. I had to be obedient to the process. I had to surrender to that process. And in doing so, I became really confident in my mind, in my ego, which was still out of balance at that time. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to do medium. I know I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I couldn't see that actually I was being kind of pushed into doing it so I could build the confidence to talk to people, to engage an audience. That's what it was all about. It had nothing to do with mediumship. It had to do with me learning and developing a different aspect of my personality that, because of programs and beliefs that had been placed upon me as a child, I didn't feel confident in. Be mindful. When you find yourself in resistance, take yourself off to a quiet place and ask yourself, why? Where does that resistance come from? What are your beliefs about what you're resisting exist? Where is it? Is it something from the past? Is it something from the future? Something from the present? And I say, or is it a combination of all of it? And I say the future because I know when I was doing work around my abundance, my financial work, there was a fear of how I would be perceived if I was financially abundant. There was a rooted future fear that came from something from the past, that if I was financially abundant, it would make me unsafe. So that's why I say that. It's about really digging in and understanding the BS, basically, that we tell ourselves, the stories we make up because of the existing programs and experiences that we have. And going, well, that's not really true, is it? I'm going to honour the fact that I feel that, and I'm going to work through that, but it's not true. And make a list of all the things that you're feeling. Don't poo-poo them, don't shove them away, don't tell yourself, oh, well, that's stupid, because some of the things that will come up, you will look at it and you'll go, well, that's really silly. I was going to say something else then, but that's really silly, that's really childish. Don't disown it, because when you're disowning it, you're disowning a part of yourself. Honour it, but also don't buy into it. You honour it, you acknowledge it, you go, okay, that's what I'm feeling. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to be honest. That is what I'm feeling. But I'm also going to do the healing around that is needed so that my ego doesn't need to feel that anymore. So your pain points, the reasons why, could be sitting in the past, in the present, or in the future. Look at it all. Understand it all. Understand yourselves. Going back to the title, the very first thing, what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. That is that cyclical energy. And yes, it is very tempting if people are sending you ish, if people are intentionally wishing you ill. It is hard to deal with. And it is very tempting to go, have it back. I know when I first started my spiritual journey, one of the phrases that was used, return to sender. The trouble is when we return to sender is we are feeding into that cycle of negativity. I would actually implore all of you, I can't tell you again, I can't tell you what to do, this is your journey. But I would implore all of you to sit with that, see how it resonates, speak with your guides, connect to your source, and understand what you should actually do. I personally transmute that energy. I transmute it back into love. And once it is in its purest form of love, it gets then fed back into the higher collective to be used in a positive way. Energy, negative energy, is just as powerful in the energy that it has. It's not, how can I reword that, because that's not quite true. It holds a lot of power that can be used and transmuted, that can then be used for a lot of good. Love will always conquer all. And I don't mean that in a lovely, gushy, romantic way. Love is a frequency that no other emotion can kind of hold a torch to. And so if you've got emotions of guilt, shame, anger, jealousy being pushed towards you, love will transmute that. Love can take that in, because it's such a more expansive frequency. It can take it in and it can transmute it, transform it, and return it back to the love that it originally was. Be mindful. We can all have bad days, and we can all have people that piss us off, basically. And it's very easy to go, What I would actually say is, when you're in that, just be mindful. Don't block it because you need to. It's a release, and it's healthy to release, but release to the situation, not the person. If you only remember one thing from this video, that when we have that and we wanna kind of let go of some ish, let it go to the situation, not the person. When we send it to a person, they will feel that and they will send it back, and we start that cycle, that yo-yo of negative energy. And what actually happens is it will just build. This is what we're seeing on the planet at the moment within civilization, and this is what we're working to break. If this video has been of help, hit that like button. If you think it will help somebody else, by all means share it. If you've not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will be notified when new videos go up. It's usually a Tuesday and Thursday videos. Podcast is now a Saturday. Until next time, beautiful souls, take care.